Okay guys, so ZWO did something absolutely awesome with the SEESTAR, both the S50 and the S30. They did it a month ago and they didn't tell anyone about it until a couple of days ago when Kai from the channel Kai with SEESTAR, who has been like a long time hacker, let's say, of the SEESTAR S50, was notified by ZWO that you could now natively use the ZWO SEESTAR, again S50 or S30, without needing any additional software. So in the past, actually, Kai had put available kind of like a module SEESTAR_alp for SEESTAR Alpaca, which basically had to run on your PC, kind of acted as a server or like a relay, let's say, and it would connect to the SEESTAR and then give the SEESTAR information to Nina, and you could run the SEESTAR from Nina, but you know, it required a bit of work. Now, work not required. It is natively supported by ZWO. You can control your SEESTAR from Nina, and likely it should work also with software like SGP, Sequence Generator Pro, right? It should work from, what's the name, APT was it? And there's also like things like Voyager should work with all of these software, because now it's using Alpaca, which is kind of like the future of ASCOM drivers. Because it's cross-platform. But basically, I'm excited because this is awesome. Let me show you how this all works. So first, you want to make sure that your SEESTAR is updated to the latest firmware. And to do that, you can, turn it on, the usual stuff. And if you have your SEESTAR application on your smartphone up to date, and once you launch the application and connect to the SEESTAR, it should ask you to update the firmware. Okay, and now I have the SEESTAR connected to my phone via the app. I can control it as usual from the app, right? No problem with that. But obviously we want to control it from Nina. One thing that I would suggest doing, and while we're in the app, something I would recommend doing if you're going to run the SEESTAR and the computer that you are going to be running Nina from on the same Wi-Fi network, so the SEESTAR connects to your home network, your computer also connects to your home network. You want to go, and in the app you want to tap the SEESTAR icon after you have connected to it, and in there you want to search for Wi-Fi, and you have this option there, station mode. And you can basically, once you're in station mode and you've enabled it, you can choose which network you want the SEESTAR to connect to, choose your home network, input your password, and that's it. That way, the SEESTAR will basically always connect to your home Wi-Fi. And if your computer and your SEESTAR are both connected to the home Wi-Fi, they can talk to one another without needing for the computer to connect directly to the SEESTAR Wi-Fi. But that works as well, and I'm going to show you. Okay, so first things first, on my computer, I'm connected to my home network via a wired connection, right? I also have a Wi-Fi connection available if I want to. I'll show you a bit how that works. And then I can run Nina as usual. Note that sometimes the SEESTAR takes quite a bit of time to connect to your home Wi-Fi router. I'm not sure why. So if you don't see it working, then you may want to wait a little bit before launching Nina. I've launched Nina. Here we are, and you can see that immediately on the camera, for me, it has found SEESTAR Alpaca camera available via ASCOM Alpaca. And I'm not running anything else on the computer. I'm not running SEESTAR_alp, anything like that. It's just immediate because both the computer and SEESTAR are connected to the same network, and ASCOM Alpaca is basically, the SEESTAR is sending ASCOM Alpaca kind of discovery packets through your network, and your computer has, or my computer here, has found them, and so I can connect to the SEESTAR with the camera. And by the way, there's something like the IP address you can see here is 192.168.0.220. This is a typical home network address. So if you see 192.168.0 or 1 or dot something, it means that it's via your home network. If you were to connect to your SEESTAR directly on via your Wi-Fi card, so here let's say I'm going to connect to this S50 network, and that's my SEESTAR hotspot, right? So I'm going to connect to it via Wi-Fi, and the password, unless you've changed it, is 123456778. On Windows, it will always tell you like checking network requirements, but it's actually already connected. If I go back to that, you can see that it's connected no internet but secured. And let me refresh here what Nina can see, because now the SEESTAR is sending Alpaca discovery packets over my home network, but also via the direct connection between the SEESTAR and the PC. Meaning that you don't need a home network for this to work. You can have your PC connected directly to the SEESTAR Wi-Fi hotspot, which does not require any internet access. It's just a direct peer-to-peer connection. You can do that in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere, far away from anything, no network connectivity whatsoever, no 3G, 4G, 5G, 6G, whatever. It's between the SEESTAR and the computer. And now if I open up again Ascom Alpaca, you can see I have two ways to connect to my camera, because my computer is now connected to my home network via the wired connection and to the SEESTAR directly via the Wi-Fi connection. And you can see the Wi-Fi connection, like if you're connecting directly to the SEESTAR, you'll see the IP address is going to be something like 10.0.0. something, usually 1. And so now I have the choice. And since I've connected directly to the SEESTAR from the PC, there's no reason not to use that, because it should be slightly faster. It has to jump through fewer hoops to reach my PC. And I'm just going to select this SEESTAR, connect to it via the camera, and then I can change my gain. I could say like gain 50. Apparently it's going to be from 0 to 400 as advertised by the Ascom driver. Interesting stuff. I'm not sure exactly what that means yet, but if we go to the ZWO website for the ASI 462 MC camera, which uses the same sensor as the SEESTAR S50, and we go down, we can see that the curves that they have, weirdly enough, go roughly from 0 to a bit less than 400, so maybe it's similar there, which means that I don't know how it works. We'll need to test this out a lot, and it's been raining and cloudy at night forever here, so I haven't been able to do a lot, but you can see that the high conversion gain happens at gain 80, so you know what? I'll put gain 80. I'll assume that's the same thing. Put gain 80 in there, and then we'll be in the high conversion gain, assuming the SEESTAR has implemented the sensor the same way that the same company has implemented this same sensor on their separate camera. Fingers crossed, I have no idea. Sensor temperature, we have this information as well. And I can do the same thing for the filter wheel. Let's look at the filter wheel. That right now it has only via my home Wi-Fi, because that was what it found when I first started Nina. So I'm going to refresh that. And once it's refreshed, you can see it has the direct connection as well via this 10.0.0. something IP. So I'm going to connect to the filter wheel, and immediately you can see we have access to 3 filters: the dark filter, IR cut, our light pollution filter. So yeah, same for the focuser. I'm going to refresh just to find the focuser via direct connection from my PC to the SEESTAR. And there it is, 10.0.0.1, connect to it. And then the same thing for the mount. And I need to do the refresh again to find the direct connection. It would work, via the other option, but there it is, and connect to it. Now we are on the mount side of things. Something very important to realize is that Nina, I don't know about the other software, but Nina expects your mount to be an equatorial mount. And in the app, I have set up my SEESTAR to be in equatorial mode, since it's now officially supported by ZWO, right? Which means that, well, set up your SEESTAR not like this. This is just for test and to show you things, but set it up in equatorial mode if you want to use it with Nina. Let's see, can I set, yeah, I think I have a max rate, let's see. Yes, I can indeed move the SEESTAR, via Nina directly. It's a direct connection between my PC and Nina. And let's raise the arm there, and you can see it's working perfectly. I think this is absolutely awesome. I have no idea why ZWO have not, advertised that. Maybe they have, and just no one has noticed up to now. So yeah, there you see, we can switch move the telescope around, and Nina will be able to issue go-to commands and plate solving commands and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's going to be pretty awesome. So there's more stuff. The filter wheel. Let's listen to the sound as we change the filter. I'm going to put the mic closer to it. Hopefully you heard a shtak, meaning the filter was changed. And yeah, I can choose whatever filter I want. Let's go to the IR cut filter as kind of a default. And the focuser, I can also move it to whatever position I want. Right now it's position 702, but I can put it to whatever I want on the focuser. I don't know whether we need to have backlash settings yet. For now in Nina, I've put autofocus and backlash 10 steps as overshoot backlash. It shouldn't make any issue with that. And yeah, I can move it and I can say like, actually focus on 1500. And I just heard it move and the focus has changed. This is amazing. And yeah, so let's go to the imaging tab just to show you that we can take pictures with the camera. So I'm going to take a 0.1 second exposure with the SEESTAR, and it's doing it. And there it is. We have the result here. Now, one thing to note is that under the options, if I go to imaging and then I search, if I go to equipment there and I set the auto Bayer pattern and I take an image, there it is, taking the image, exposing, downloading. There it is. I get this very magenta kind of color, which should not really happen with an IR cut filter. So I don't think that the automatic Bayer pattern works. I think for processing, the SEESTAR ZWO recommends what I think it was GRBG. GRBG, I think, is the correct Bayer pattern. And I'm going to retake an image, and we are going to see that the magenta tone is gone, replaced by a more greenish/yellowish tone, which is actually the color of, my light is pretty yellow in this room. So yeah, I think that makes sense. And I can change the filter to dark and take another frame, and that would be a dark frame. I mean, I would probably do it in real darkness because I'm sure there are light leaks even with the filter, but there is a dark frame there. And I can take, light pollution filter frame. Maybe I'll put the exposure up to 1 second because it should let much less light in. See what happens. And there we go. We have the light pollution filter, which is basically a dual band or quad band, narrow-ish band filter. And that's super cool. I go to manual focus targets and I say slew to a specific target. You can see that it works, but again, it's assuming that your SEESTAR is in equatorial mode, right? So you can do that. One thing I don't know is whether the SEESTAR will try to automatically do dithering after X exposures as usual, or whether it will rely on Nina sending the dithering commands, which you can do under guider, mount dither, and then you can have Nina dither by a certain number of pixels every exposure or every X exposures, but I'm not sure whether it's going to work because it's unable to find a dither duration, like a guide pulse duration that it should send. Actually, I'm going to try to put the focal length of the SEESTAR in there. It's 250 millimeters, right, if I remember correctly. And let's go back to the guider. Okay, now it works. Now we have a pixel scale, and so now this will work. This will definitely work in terms of dithering directly to the mount without needing a guide scope. So yeah, I mean, with all of that, this should work. And if you have a flat panel, you can take flats with your SEESTAR as well fairly easily. I think this is very, very exciting. And we should be able to use the Nina autofocus as well for really good autofocus curves. This is really awesome because you no longer have to rely on the official ZWO app. You can use the Nina Advanced Sequencer, the basic sequencer. You can have the SEESTAR is now officially a one-stop shop little tiny OBSI on its own, controllable via ASCOM or Alpaca in this case, so via Nina. You have all of the power at your fingertips. This is amazing. I think this is absolutely amazing. And so I really hope that in the future, ZWO makes like a SEESTAR S50 Pro or a SEESTAR S70, 70 Pro, where you can optionally cool the camera sensor. Because imagine a SEESTAR S70 Pro, like slightly bigger, maybe the size of a Vaonis Vespera, right? And with awesome optics, with a sensor that can be cooled and controllable via Alpaca. That's an absolute dream. So yeah, this is super exciting. I haven't had the ability to test this under the stars yet, but you can tell I am excited. Actually, I'm going to try something else. I'm going to try to go to Mount and say, go home. They have implemented home. That is so cool. ZW, this is awesome. Why aren't you advertising this? Shout it on the rooftops. This is so cool. So yeah, this is awesome. There it is. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Have you tried this? Will you try this? And please, please, since I don't have any good weather for the foreseeable future, someone please test it under the stars and let us know how it went down in the comments. Were you able to do an autofocus run? Does the dithering via the direct mount dither work? Were you able to plate solve, slew, and center? Were you able to do an advanced sequence? Let us know down in the comments. And of course, if you're watching, check the comments for updates on this because this is super exciting. While you're at it, you can like the video. It really helps the channel out. And if you want to help the channel even more and you're planning on buying anything from ZWO, from Agena, High Point Scientific, etc., if you do so after clicking one of the links I have down in the description, it will help me out at no cost to you. If you want to sponsor the channel directly, make these videos possible directly, you can join my Patreon. The link is down in the description. Some of my Patreons have access to my videos early and without ads. Or you can become a channel member, and that's the join button next to the subscribe button. You guys, you know it. All of this is possible thanks to you and your generosity. Thank you so much for your support. With that, I hope this was interesting. I hope you are just as excited as I am. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, whenever you can, to look up at the stars, and I'll see you next time.